So here we are in the bee house.
What
kind of bee is that on your hand,
This
Quinn?
is a drone. If you want to hold a bee, this is a rare occasion because drones only stay in the hive. So, when we were talking, I saw him on the front of a beehive. So I wanted to hold him, but he's starving to death, so he's gonna die soon.
Starving to death? What's wrong with him?
The nurse bees kicked them out, so the nurse bees won't feed them. There's really nothing we can do about it now.
So what is a drone?
So you can see it's a fat body, fat eyes wrapping. So you can see that. And that,
Big eyes?
Yeah, big eyes.
Now you said they're only in the hive?
Yes, so it's a rare occasion.
You mean they don't fly out?
I mean, they'll fly out every once in a while, but they don't really stay. They stay.
They fly out because they're
yeah.
looking for queens to mate with
Mm-hmm.
that have not yet mated. And so this time of year, what time of year is it?
2023.
Well, that's the year.
Yeah, winter.
So what time of year is it?
We're going into winter, so
So what month are we in?
September.
We're in October.
October.
Okay, that's all right.
October.
All right, so one of the things we're doing today, we're starting a first of a series of questions for you. And we're sitting in, what's the building that we're in right now?
The WDB Academy.
Okay, so what goes on in here?
All the bee stuff. Most of
All the bee stuff. Okay, so we learn a lot in here, right? And today you've got your pet drone, who's probably not going to last
a day.
the day. Yeah. Okay, so what we did was we put the word out last Friday and said if somebody wanted to ask you questions.
They could.
How old are you?
I'm only 8 now. I'm 8 now.
You're 8 now. Okay, and you're a beekeeper?
Yes.
Do you remember the first time you went out in a bee yard and looked at bees?
That was so many years ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, so you're pretty little.
Yes, I was very little. I say about 1 or 2. I was very little.
I would say that's true. You were walking around, and it's hard to remember those things. Thank goodness now the things you're learning, you're going to remember, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got some questions via email here, and our website, we should probably say, is thewaytobee.org, and there's a form there that people can fill out. But these are from a bunch of students that live in Texas, Lakeway, Texas. And it says here, the following questions are from my middle schoolers who are in Bee Club at Lake Travis Middle School. And so 6th grade is being taught by this teacher. And so let's just go down and see what you have to say about the questions.
Okay.
You feel like you might have some answers for them?
Yes.
Okay, so the very first question is, now that you're going to start managing your own hive.
I am managing my own hive right now.
Okay.
If you checked out the August 26th video, you'll see I got my first colony.
Holy cow, that's a lot of information. August 26th, I'm surprised you even remember that. All right, so what excites you the most about managing bees?
It's exciting because I get to have my very own hive with, well, I get thousands of little insects with it, and they're the only insect in the world who can make food for us. That's why it's exciting to have thousands of in one box.
Is it exciting to be the person that has to care for them?
Yes.
And look out for them? Is there a lot to it, or is it easy to do?
After years of training and stuff, yeah, you'll get the hang of it. It's easy.
After years of training. Okay, so what excites you the most is that, what, you just get to take care of them? Is there something about bees that you think is really cool?
They're cute, very cute.
Cute, because you say that a lot, don't you?
Yes.
You say, how come they're so cute? And I said, what? What did I tell you probably is appealing about bees over other insects? They have really big eyes, right?
Yeah.
They're fuzzy. Look at this guy. By the way, let's talk about cute. What is cuter than a drone? I don't know. They're just really fuzzy, and as you pointed out, he has big eyes that go all the way to the top of his head.
You guys can see the cool pattern in his wings.
Okay, and there's patterns in the wings, and he looks actually really healthy. So if the bees cared about him, they could have kept him alive. But you also said you wanted to feed him, and I said that doesn't work, right?
Because the nurse bees do all their work.
Nurse bees feed them. Drones can't feed themselves. So he's pretty much doomed.
Yeah, but I get to pet him still.
You get to pet him. Okay, so let's move on to question number 2. There's 10 questions.
Yep.
Okay, so question number 2 is, what's your favorite fun fact about honeybees?
They're not only an insect in the world who can make food for us.
The only insect in the world that makes food for people.
And then
That's interesting.
Yeah, the honey lasts about your whole life.
So the honey has no shelf life, basically, you're saying?
And that comes from flowers, which is healthy. Very healthy.
Okay. Can you narrow it down to one fact? The one interesting thing, like, whoa, that's mind-blowing. I can't believe bees can do that.
Bees can only make 1/11th of a teaspoon its whole life of honey.
That is an amazing fact.
Winter bees live for 6 months when queens live for years, and honeybees live for 6 weeks.
So the foragers and stuff. So you're saying winter bees actually live longer than the summer bees.
Yes.
That's interesting. So it sounds like you really can't narrow it to one thing. I think you're interested. You have a lot of fun facts about bees. Okay. So let's go to question number 3. Do you think honeybees have favorite flowers?
I say hyssop and dandelions.
Hyssop and dandelions.
Yep.
Okay, now those things aren't available to the bees all year long, are they?
Nope.
So when would we see dandelions?
Spring.
Springtime, yeah. So it does seem like bees have a real preference for those then.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because there's nothing else for them to eat. What are you thinking?
Yeah. But they do store honey for the winter, so.
Okay.
And it depends how much energy they have, how much honey they eat. It's like how much. It's like
what do you think attracts a bee to a specific flower over another?
Favorite color.
Favorite colors?
Oh wait, I know. A bunch of nectar, most nectar.
Okay, so if there's a lot of sweetness in the nectar, that's going to draw a lot of bees. Okay, that's pretty good too, because I think dandelions come at a time when there are not a lot of other nectar sources, right? So I think you're right there. Let's move on to question number 4. Do male honeybees live longer than female honeybees? That's interesting, and you know what? That's really good because we have one right here to look at.
So,
what do you think?
Yep, they live longer.
So a male, the drone?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think drones live for 7 months. Is that correct?
Okay, well, they can live for several months. I don't know if it's 7 months. That would be long. But they definitely live for several months. And they can burn themselves out too because they do a lot of flying and they use up a lot of energy to look for virgin queens. So would you say then that a drone lives longer than a worker?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. The next one is, of course, it says female honeybees. Now, does that include a queen? Would she be considered female?
Yes.
That's right. So we'd have to define that better. Female worker bee does not live as long as a drone unless it's a fat-bodied winter worker bee. And then, of course, the queen, that's a female also, and she can live how long?
A few years.
She can live a few years. Yep, absolutely. Okay, question number 5. Moving on. How do honeybees make their wax?
They chew it up and get off their abdomen.
Get it off their abdomen. Okay, so there are glands in the abdomen?
Yes.
What are they called? What kind of glands? Would they be honey glands? Would they be... What kind of glands they have on their abdomen that wax comes out of?
Honey glands.
Are there honey glands? What are you thinking? You could say you don't know if you don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know that question.
Okay, now you had a good answer there. It does come from their abdomen. I tried to give you some little pointers there by saying these glands produce what? Beeswax.
Yeah.
So they're called wax glands.
I was going to say that.
4 down each side of their abdomen, so there's 8 total. And they make their own. Now, what do you think they need in order to make beeswax? What do they need to eat?
Honeycomb, honey.
Honey. Yeah, it takes a lot of honey
Yes.
to make beeswax comb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, there's one fun fact. If you want to know how many honeybees make a quart of honey, that would be 2,112 honeybees. It's in total for 1 quart of honey.
That is very good math. By the way, people should probably know that you're really good at math.
Mm-hmm.
So you base that on, this is the word problem, right? You knew that one honeybee worker, generally speaking, makes an 1/11 of a teaspoon of honey. So, then you needed to know that that's 11 bees to make a teaspoon, how many teaspoons in a cup, how many cups in a quart, and that's how you arrived at your number, and that is very good math. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so here we go. Number 6 is, how do honeybees make the special food they feed the queen bee larva?
It is royal jelly.
Okay, how do they make that?
Out of nectar.
So, well, the worker bees have to eat it, but royal jelly, you think it can come just from nectar, or what's the protein source?
Honey.
Honey is the protein source?
Yes.
You think so? So if a bee goes to a flower, what is it going to get from the flower? Nectar. Anything else?
Protein.
What's the protein?
I forgot the name.
What does it look like?
Pollen.
Pollen. Yes. There you go. So the nectar is actually an energy source, but if they're going to produce food to feed developing larvae, even a queen, right?
Yes.
It would have to include what?
Pollen.
Pollen. And so they take that pollen protein and they're going to turn it in. I know this is beyond you because it's called vitellogenin. And they produce it in their mandibular glands, and then they're going to produce royal jelly.
Glands.
Okay.
Yeah, we just talked about
so they're going to produce royal jelly for the queen and all workers. The difference is they feed the queen more of it over a longer period of time.
Yeah, she's basically she keeps all the bees alive, basically, nursing.
She's the source of all bees in the hive, right? Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a complicated question, I think. But let's see. How they make their wax, special food for the queen. Number 7, if a colony loses its queen unexpectedly, what do bees do to choose which egg will be the next queen?
They feed that egg the most.
So they pick an egg, and by feeding it something called what?
Royal jelly.
Royal jelly. So they can pick an egg and what day does the egg hatch?
3 days.
3 days. Good answer. So the egg hatches in 3 days, and then if they need a queen...
Yes, they will feed it...
royal jelly?
Yes.
Okay, jelly. So they feed it more royal jelly and more frequently.
Than all the thousands of honeybees.
Okay, can I ask you another question about that? So when we look at these bees over here, and we see their cells... Now, if they were going to make a queen, would her cell be any different than the other cells?
It'll be bigger, a lot bigger.
Okay. Now, does it stick out sideways? Does it go vertical?
It's vertical, I think.
It's vertical.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Okay.
So their cells are different as well, larger, and they run a different direction. So they run up and down instead of horizontal.
Yeah.
Okay. So they can make a new queen anytime they have an egg that hatches. Okay.
This is one source of a...
Could they make a queen from a drone egg?
No.
Nope, sure can't.
This is one reason why a beehive swarms. Too many bees, crowded. It's crowded.
Okay, that wasn't one of the questions.
But, I mean...
You're off on your own tangent. Let's focus. We have 10 questions to get through. Right. Okay, so that's a good answer. Unexpectedly, they can replace a queen anytime they have eggs. If they have no eggs... and no larvae, then...
They're doomed.
Yeah, so what could they make? If they laid eggs, then what would they produce?
Don't know.
Okay, this may be something you haven't covered yet, so it's good for us to talk about it right now. If it was too late and there were no eggs, the queen was unexpectedly lost, let's say, and she wasn't developing brood at the time.
Yeah.
Workers can also lay eggs later.
Wait, they can?
So about 21 days down the line, a worker can produce eggs, but guess what hatches from those? Drones. Only drones.
Hey, but I mean, they're still bees, so can't
There's still
complain.
bees, but the colony's still doomed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's number 8. How does geography or climate or plants or terrain affect honey?
The taste. It would affect the taste.
Could affect the taste depending on what the plants are. Yeah, that's a good answer. What else?
Mixed flowers. Would there be mixed flowers?
When it says climate, do you even know what climate is?
No.
Kind of a tough question, isn't it? Because, for example, depending on where you live in the world, you may have a desert region or you may live in prairie areas, right?
Yeah.
And we're in the northeastern United States, so our climate would be considered temperate, which I know that's probably hard for you to understand, but that means we have distinctive seasons, right? So right now it's getting cold, everything's turning brown, we have leaf color, right? Other parts of the country don't go through the same seasons that we do. So the climate that you have, right?
Yeah.
Might have some impact on how many flowers there are around for your bees to feed on, right? And in some areas they don't get snow. So what would that mean for the bees?
Helpful.
Helpful for the bees because then they could just continue producing all year round, right?
Yeah.
So if we're in a place like this where it's going to get cold, winter's going to come, snow's going to fall, the bees are going to do what?
Stay in the hive and eat the honey.
They're going to stay in the hive, they're going to eat the honey. And is it called, this is a question you may not know the answer to, is it called hibernation?
I think that's only for mammals. No.
Whoa, good answer. So what do the bees do that's similar to hibernation? Where they just slow down.
Slow down, stay in the hive, stop producing
Do you know
honey.
the word for it?
No.
It's called torpor.
Torpor.
So they go into a state of torpor.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know we haven't covered that, so you wouldn't know that,
No,
but I
but
think
now
it's
I
good to
know.
talk about.
Now I know.
Okay, so Quinn, how do bees communicate?
Buzzing. Make buzzing. Like they're right now, you can hear that.
Okay, now we hear the buzzing, but can bees actually hear buzzing? Or do they
Yes.
feel it?
Feel it?
They feel it. Do bees have ears?
No.
Sure don't. They have a bunch of hairs on their body.
Yeah, I can see that. No
So,
ears.
yeah, the hairs
Yeah.
are a form, they can communicate by touch, right? And so when they're buzzing, we hear the buzzing, but that's a vibration that they feel, right?
Yeah.
But what's the number one way that bees communicate with one another?
Touching each other with their antennas.
They touch with their antennas, but
Yeah,
what do they also
their antennas.
They're smelling.
Smelling it.
So do you know, it's a big word. There's a word that deals with what bees produce that other bees can smell. Do you know what the word is?
No.
Okay, pheromone.
Pheromone.
Have you heard
I've
that word
of it.
before?
Yeah, I've heard of
Okay. So I would say the number one way that bees
that.
communicate.
It's pheromones.
Pheromones, yeah. There's something called hormones. Those are internal, and then there's pheromones, which are external. And because bees don't hear well, and guess what? We've got this hive over here. In
they
fact,
don't
we've got 3 of them, and they're all lit up right now. But actually, the beehive climate, is there light or darkness? Is there light or darkness inside a hive?
Darkness.
Darkness normally. So pheromones would be important because they can tell a lot about what's going on.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's rare to find a drone and hold it because we talked about earlier they stay in their hive or mate with the queen. That's really it. So, I mean, it's not gonna be that rare if you have a bunch of beehives and you watch closely. So you got that.
So you might see them on a landing board, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be at a beehive to see it.
So
Okay.
yeah, we have a lot. So it's gonna be easy for us. Maybe not for you guys, but yeah.
Okay. So people that don't keep bees probably wouldn't
No.
see a drone.
No.
Yeah, there'd be no reason to. Now, what's another communication? We saw it just earlier tonight on this comb over here that the bees were communicating where something's located. What were they doing?
Waggling the waggle dance.
The waggle dance, yeah. So by waggling, it's telling the other bees in the hive, other foragers,
Yeah.
where they can go to get the resources that he just came in with. And you asked, what if they reject it? What if they don't care about what he has?
Yeah.
Then they don't pay attention to the waggle
Yeah,
dance,
they just
do they?
boop it out. They boop.
They beep it?
Yeah, beep it, I meant. They beep it out.
Beeping or
Yeah.
booping? Okay.
I-
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so they do let them know when they don't care about what they're bringing in. So they do have a language. The waggle dance is a language.
The
Pheromones are
location.
communication. Vibrations are communication. Okay, so here's question number 10. Here's the very last one, and you're doing great so far, by the way. This is your very first Q&A, so I think that's fantastic.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite type of hive, and is there a type or brand you want to try? So here, in our apiary, we have all kinds of beehives,
Yeah,
right?
he has Applemae, Nucleus.
So what's your favorite?
Flow Hive and Flow Brand.
Flow hive, interesting. And so it's safe to say that's the one you want to try?
Yes.
Okay. And can you explain why?
Very nice detail, nice smooth, good detail, cool, yeah, that's really about it. And
so they're made well. That's what you like, the way they look, you're saying, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what about when it comes time, if we look inside these hives over here, we've got some honeycomb up there, and whoa, they're doing a good job.
On that honeycomb.
They're making their own comb. And when it comes time to take beeswax or honey out of a hive.
Do you ever take honey or honeycomb from a
observation hive? No, we don't. We just let them cycle through it themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And if we needed to, we could. We just open it up. They have glass panels, and we can open those panels. But we like to just see what they cycle through on their own.
Yeah, we prefer not to.
Okay.
Because we have all these other beehives.
But I suppose what I'm trying to get to is you name the flow hive as your favorite hive of all the hives we have.
Yes.
Does the way you get honey out of it have anything to do with why you like it?
So it comes with bee suits, gloves, tools, kits, beehives, and a bunch of other stuff.
So you could get a kit from Flow, and they make all the stuff you need.
Yeah, it comes.
But what about?
It comes with brushes, hive tools,
Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
Is that the reason you like it?
One of the reasons comes with
okay.
Tools. Yeah.
So I guess the way we take honey out of it is not the reason that you like it.
That's one of the reasons too. How do you take honey out of it? Flow frames. There's flow frames when you want to take honey from a flow hive. If you have flow frames in there, it's really easy to take out.
Okay, so it comes out through the back, and there's a key, and okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen that happen?
No.
You've never seen flow hive honey come out of a flow hive?
Maybe once.
That's fun. I think when you were little,
Yeah.
I think you have forgotten that you've sat out there while your grandmother brought out the jars and we just kept filling them. Okay. So thank you for taking us along your beekeeping journey, and we're looking forward to learning alongside you, says Ms. Perez.
Right.
Okay. So you want to thank them for sending in their questions?
Yes, thank you.
And is there anything else you just want to say in closing? Anything you want to share? Closing thoughts, maybe? Now that we're headed for winter? Nothing?
No.
Okay. So I think keep your little drone right there, and I think we'll close out looking at him. And we want to thank people for sending in their questions for Quinn, and we'll see if there aren't some more questions in the future coming in, and we'll talk about bees. All right. So that's it. Thanks a lot, Quinn. You did a great job.
Yeah, thanks.